Hey everybody, this is Party Elite bringing you some early access content for Total War Warhammer 2. This video is all about some of the key changes to Magic in the second game in the hopes of giving you an idea of what to expect on launch. My in-depth Magic guide will come after we've had a chance to see how these spells perform in the real world, so stay tuned for that. On the topic of powerful casters, it's great to see the increased number of bound spells both in campaign and on the battlefield. As some quick examples, characters like Teclis can use powerful magic like Fiery Convocation, while Mazdamundi can use Ruination of Cities and Banishment without having to dig into your limited winds of magic. This helps keep magic more relevant through the battle and means that if you've taken the appropriate army to the field, you'll certainly feel the more magically inclined nature of some of these factions. Naturally, these are limited in how many times you can use them, as any powerful ability should be for the sake of balance, but this is a great way in which casters have been made more powerful than before. When it comes to tapping into our Winds of Magic power reserve, we now have access to greater Arcane Conduit. Of course, when every caster on the field has it, it will balance the playing field out, but with better buffs to power recharge rates and power reserves, you'll see a tangible difference between your reserves, with Arcane Conduit and Greater Arcane Conduit put head to head, really showing how the magically attuned races have the upper hand there. In the midst of battle, there are a few changes to spells and types of spells available as well. Like Pit of Shades revolutionized the Vortex spell in Game 1, Doombolt does the same for bombardment spells, and suggests we might see more like this in the future. Where most bombardment spells have a relatively long time to cast and thus can be easily dodged, Doombolt homes in on a target from the sky, following them right to the end. This makes Doombolt a lot more effective than most bombardments, and might spell a new age for bombardments. Important to note, however, is that somebody with effective micromanagement can still dodge a Doombolt, force it to hit terrain, or turn away at the very last moment, but if you're targeting a unit, chances are you're landing a hit and getting some great kills through it too. Continuing this talk of revolutions, we now have a new type of wind spell available to us, though only one of its kind exists at the moment. Ruination of Cities is marked as a wind spell and behaves like one for the most part, except for the fact that it fires in 3 different directions, each of them randomly picked. This adds a bit of a risk factor to the spell, but an equal possibility of great rewards. Ruination of Cities cast into a massive mob can cause much pain no matter where it goes, and it makes it harder to dodge as well, unlike the standard wind spells, bringing more chaos to the field. Only time will tell if more wind spells will get that treatment, or if that's something unique for Ruination of Cities. Then again, Ruination of Cities is technically not a spell, as it is bound to Mazdamundi and he doesn't have to use Winds of Magic for it. On the topic of wind spells, this next one is absolutely massive. Wind spells and breath spells can now have their directions dictated and locked. By clicking and holding on the left mouse button to cast, you can shift the mouse left and right to pick the perfect angle for your spell, and release the mouse only when things are lined up how you want. Not to be dramatic, but this changes everything when it comes to wind spells, whose biggest limitations included how predictable they were when the caster was making their way over to the flank. Now these wind and breath spells can come from anywhere at any time, making them a lot more threatening, though the long cast time on wind spells means you'll still have time to dodge. Another new addition to Magic in Game 2 are the spells that target only airborne units. Keep an eye out for this descriptor, as it's a limitation that is applied across a few spells of different types. There's a Net of a Mintok equivalent, Howling Warp Gale, pinning airborne units in place, and there are spells like Tempest that slow only airborne units down. Finally, and this is something I'll touch on in an upcoming video as well, but there are now spells that will give your units the ability to stalk and be extra sneaky. Remember Night Shroud, the little wah spell that reduced enemy accuracy and vision? Now it's something you can cast on your own units, giving them stalk instead. Now we won't be playing as the Greenskins anytime soon, but it's important to note that the enemy is capable of doing this. Skaven also have access to Skitterly. That does a similar bit of work, masking a unit with a stalk ability, allowing them to get extra close where they otherwise wouldn't be able to. With the right units, this can make a world of difference when it comes to a tactical flanking maneuver, and against the right enemy, it can make the world of difference staying safe from artillery and ranged fire. Magic has definitely been nuanced for the second game, and time will certainly reveal the impact of these changes, and others that might reveal themselves after launch. Some of these changes might seem relatively minor, but others are massive, making Magic feel more powerful than before, giving it its rightful place on the battlefield. Stay tuned for my Magic guide that I'll develop as we get more time to play with and learn the secrets behind all the new spells at our disposal, and I'll also revisit the old magical lores to see how they've been changed as well. As always, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more Total War Early Access content, battles, let's plays, and more. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, cheers.